Morning, guys. That was really good. Good. Yes. Seems like I have to practice my singing voice. Last Christmas, I gave you my heart. That's very nice to give you this. Okay, so food and giving thanks. That's what I'll not be talking about today. No, I'm joking. I will be talking about that today. So let's start with Thanksgiving. Okay, they celebrate Thanksgiving in Canada, apparently. As you know, I'm not American. I had to do some research. So it was quite interesting to go through all of the information and see what they do on the other side of the Atlantic. Canada celebrates Thanksgiving on the second Monday of October, and then this country, I don't know if you know it, America, they celebrate it on the fourth Thursday of November. The fourth Thursday of November. A lot of fifth sounds. Okay, and then, very interesting, as you know, I had to do some research. This country also celebrates Thanksgiving, and a lot of other countries also. But this was specifically interesting because the name is Brazil. Do you know Brazil in English? Brazil. They celebrate on exactly the same day as America. Now, I think I know why, but as you know, Mr. Groves is my sensei, my Miyagi, and he started this initiative by giving away stuff if you can answer a question. So, because it's Christmas, I have chocolate and candy. I'm not sure which one you like, but you get both. If you can answer this question, why do Brazil celebrate Thanksgiving on exactly the same day as America? Okay? The first person that can answer that question will get candy and chocolate. Okay, so let's move on. Thanksgiving. So Thanksgiving is a public holiday in America. So I'll be talking about specifically the Thanksgiving in America for now. It's a public holiday. It's characterized by big family get-togethers. They always talk about, oh my goodness, now I have to see my weird uncle at dinner, Thanksgiving dinner. Oh, I have to fly home for Thanksgiving, so it's characterized by big family get-togethers. Obviously, they have big family dinners. There's lots of eating. It's apparently the day America eats the most, Thanksgiving. And then I guess the next day is the day they go to the toilet the most. They have a few traditional dishes. And it looks marvelous, look at that. Then I thought it should be a very expensive exercise to have your Thanksgiving dinner. Then I did some research and I found this. Now you can see that graph there on the screen. The blue line indicates the cost or the price, what you pay for a classic. You see a classic Thanksgiving dinner for 10 people. So the blue line is the actual money dollar value. You call it the nominal cost. And then the grey line, you can see the grey line is kind of flat. That is when you take inflation into consideration. That's the inflation adjusted cost. That's for 10 people, $48. That's American dollars. And then if you transfer it translated into Hong Kong dollars, it's not that expensive. It's 318 Hong Kong dollars. That's quite okay for a big family dinner. Okay? That includes all the classic meals, all the traditional dishes, and I'll quickly talk about some of the interesting ones I've seen. Obviously, this is a turkey, a roasted turkey specifically, and then they have this. I've never had this. I'll try it soon. It's a pumpkin pie and cream. It looks delicious. Pumpkin pie and cream. So, makes me think of Halloween. And then this is not really a dish, but it's part of a dish. But it's also really interesting. It's cranberry sauce. I've never had that. So I'll talk about Turkey first, but please don't be confused with the country Turkey. There's a country called Turkey. It's basically part of Europe, and that's the flag of Turkey. It's a country. So don't confuse the turkey we eat with the turkey. Also, when you look at me now today, don't confuse me with the country Turkey, Chile. Sorry, the country Chile, and that's the flag of Chile. Okay, so I'm not that. We're not the same. Okay, so let's talk about the turkey we eat. So why do they eat turkey? Apparently it's not that popular year-round. They don't eat it every day in America. But it's native to America. I'm not sure if it's only native to America, but it was apparently something that you can eat and that you can find in America. So that's one of the reasons why they eat turkey for Thanksgiving. Also, it is bigger. You can see it's bigger than a chicken. So with one turkey you can feed a big family, or you can feed a hungry small family. Okay? So that's one of the reasons why they have turkey for Thanksgiving. Now, how do farmers meet that huge single-day demand? Now, look at this. Okay? So they don't eat turkey every day. It's really big. And you'll see almost everywhere in America a turkey on a table on Thanksgiving. That's for one day, everyone has a turkey. How is that possible that they can do that? So I was really interested in that. So because you know, Santa, he delivers Christmas presents to everyone on one day, on the 25th of December. To everyone. And I've never figured out how he does it. So I thought if I could figure out how the farmers do it with turkeys, then I would crack Santa's secret. Okay? So I did the research, I was very excited, but the main thing is they freeze turkeys. So they slaughter, they kill a lot of turkeys throughout the year, and then they freeze them. So a lot of people eat all turkeys on Thanksgiving. It's okay, you can freeze it. Frozen turkey can be stored for a long time. Like many other foods, it can be frozen and stored for a long time. So that's how they do it. That's how the farmers do it. You can get some fresh turkey, but it's about, I don't know, 10% or 8% of all the turkeys that they eat on Thanksgiving is fresh. The rest has been frozen. Okay? And then, look at this beautiful English sentence. I hope there's no grammar errors, Mr. Gross. The National Turkey, there's something like the National Turkey Federation, estimates that about 45 to 46 million turkeys gets killed every Thanksgiving. That's a lot of turkeys. 45 to 46 million turkeys. Okay, then let's move on to the cranberry sauce. Remember? The red cranberry sauce. That's also part of a traditional dish. Now, again, I don't want you to confuse cranberry sauce with this. This is a band, the Cranberries. On Monday or Wednesday at the karaoke, I might sing one of their songs. And they are from Ireland. They are from Ireland. Just to prevent confusion. So I'm going to talk about this. Berries, you know? Berries, not the band, but cranberries. Okay? So I was really excited. I don't think I've had cranberries. But the first thing I saw is this. They are hard, sour, and bitter. That doesn't sound delicious in any way. Hard, sour, and bitter. I prefer my berries soft, sweet, and tasty. But these berries, so why do they eat them? Why do they eat them in America? So what they do is they actually sweeten the berries with a lot of sugar and other fruit juices. That's how they make it. And they normally make it into a sauce or a juice. So they put cranberry sauce on the turkey, for example. And so it's a processed food item. Okay. Cranberries. The other thing that's really interesting about cranberries is the farming process. The farming process. They use these flooded bogs. Not easy to say, bogs. The flooded bogs. Now that's a photo of a flooded bog. You can see the red, those are cranberries, the red. The black is water. And then the guy in the middle is a farmer. I'm not sure what he's doing, but it looks pretty cool. Really pretty. You can have a look. It's really pretty. Then why do we have Thanksgiving? Do you know? Why do we have Thanksgiving? Why do they have Thanksgiving? So I'm not 100% sure, and like I said, I'm not American or Canadian. In South Africa, we don't celebrate Thanksgiving. So I did some research and I'm a bit confused. One of the reasons is it's rooted in a religious, it has a religious, let's say, start. It started with religion. It is historically a religious holiday, historically. But it's long been a secular holiday. A secular holiday. That means no religion involved. So it's not because you believe in God. So the people that celebrate Thanksgiving don't necessarily believe in a God or God. So one of the most popular narratives about Thanksgiving is that it's a symbolic dinner, to celebrate a symbolic dinner that the English pilgrims had with Native Indians, Native American Indians. So a very long time ago, some British people, some English people moved to America. They met the Native American Indians and they had a big dinner together as a sign of peace and prosperity. But according to my research, there's strong links to harvesting. So it's a harvest festival. Okay? It's in autumn, normally when the harvest season ends. And harvest festivals are popular around the world. So in Hong Kong, we celebrate a harvest festival. So this is question number 2. So you see I have 2. This is one question about Brazil. The first person that can answer that question. And then this is, if you can answer this question, harvest festival are popular around the world. What is the name of the harvest festival we celebrate in Hong Kong? It's quite popular. So if you're not sure what a harvest is, I'll explain to you now. It's the cut and gathering of crops. It's what farmers do when the fruit or vegetables are ready. They go and fetch it from the fields. And it's a very busy time. So now you know what's harvesting, and farmers are super busy then. They're just working so hard. I found this picture on the internet of a guy picking apples, and you can see he's smiling and he looks so clean. But he did it for the camera. Farmers are not that clean or that happy normally during harvest season. They work really, really, really hard. And then obviously, when the harvest is finished, they're so happy that they have food, the harvest was successful, and then they want to spend some time with their family, and that's why we have harvest festivals, because we're happy that we have food on the table. So harvesting has been mechanized. So it's not that hard work, but it's still a lot of work. What do we eat in winter? So now I've told you that we harvest in autumn. So there's nothing growing in the winter. Okay? Nothing growing in the winter. So it's winter now. Where do we get our fresh fruit? Where do we get it? So this is the hint. So the hemispheres. So I'm from South Africa. South Africa is in the southern hemisphere. So it's winter here in the northern hemisphere. That means it's what? The southern hemisphere? It's summer. Okay? So we get a lot of our fruit from the southern hemisphere. And this is just really interesting. I wanted to show you this, but now it's not very clear on the screen. The red means northern hemisphere. The green means southern hemisphere. Okay, those are the months. And the top one is mango. And then the bottom one is oranges. So you can see in the southern hemisphere, they harvest in January, February, and March, the mangoes. And then the oranges, they harvest in the southern hemisphere in August, September, October, November, December. So now we are done harvesting here in the northern hemisphere because it's winter, but we'll get our fruit, our fresh fruit, from the southern hemisphere. And how do they get it here? Again, they freeze it like the turkey. They use these refrigerated containers. And they use special packaging to protect the fruit. So that's just something interesting to consider. So that's why we have Thanksgiving, to be thankful. So next time, when you look at your full, beautiful plate of food, take a moment and think of where the food comes from. Be thankful for the process. The food you have on your plate comes from many different places. And we can be thankful every day because of that. So thank you very much.